Hi, my name is Sarah Webster, and I'm doing my presentation on the Bennie and the Jets case. So in this scenario, Bennie is a recent grad who's working as an accountant for a company. And one thing that's required of this company is to keep below a maximum rate of return on operating income. And while Bennie is working there, he notices that they artificially lower their rate of return by miscoding some accounting entries. And so in this situation, he has an ethical dilemma. He knows that these things are being incorrectly coded and it's artificially lowering their rate of return. So he decides he needs to bring this up to someone. And the question that it asks is, how does he need to do this? What is the best course of action for him? In my opinion, and I believe it says something similar in the ethics codes for accountants, it states that it should first be brought up to your superiors. Now, in this situation, he has many of them, so there's many people he could go through. Preferably, I think, to start with your immediate supervisor if they don't take it seriously, if they don't do anything about it, to just keep going up the chain until someone does do something about it. When I'm thinking of this, we recently discussed the Enron case, and I think in that situation, they had bad press. Enron went bankrupt. Arthur Andersen went bankrupt because of it. I think oftentimes it's better to solve something internally so they're not quite so affected by it. All those employees aren't quite so affected by it. But if necessary, you might need to whistle blow in order to make sure your company is following acceptable accounting standards. So in this case, to sum that up, I would start with the right authorities within the company before going outside to get help with that. The other questions it kind of asks are, what are the ethical values that are front and center in this scenario? I think one of them is just honesty with yourself. Bennie, he knew that this was incorrect, and he knew he needed to do something about it. And sometimes it's hard to be honest with yourself. If you find something like this, it's never easy to be the person to point something out, to be the person that has to consistently work on getting the thing resolved. So I think that is one of the most important ethical values that is prevalent in this case. And as he's going up their chain, there might be rationalizations that he has to deal with. Some of those might include, our company needs the profit in order to do well. Like, we're not making enough profit. Maybe they say the standards are too low. They need to raise the maximum for all companies across the board. Other things might be, my superiors told me to code it this way, so it's okay. You can leave it. It's not a problem. So I think those are a lot of rationalizations that he would have to deal with, and I think it would be important for him, to just stay strong with what he believes. He knows it's wrong. They know it's wrong, and they can't give in to those rationalizations. Levers that Bennie can use, I think, include, as he's going up the chain of command in order to get this resolved, is to say to the person, if you don't do anything about this, I'm going to keep going up. He could say he's going to go to outside sources. He's going to go to the Utilities Commission in order to get it solved. Just mention the various people that he can go to in order to make sure this thing is corrected. And, my final advice to Bennie would be, just make sure you stay strong in doing this. It's not easy to be the person that is trying to correct something. Never is it easy. But it is important. As accountants, we kind of promise to the public that we're going to do things correct. And when we find something that's an error, we need to make sure we correct it to protect the public. And that is my opinions and my advice I would give to Bennie on this case.